Good morning. I hope you had a good weekend. So, today I'm talking about the art of connection. And so, I want to ask you two questions. How well do you know your team? How well do you know yourself? They're two really quite powerful questions, I know, for a Monday morning. I've just come back from an incredible conference for 3 days, 2 days at the Professional Speakers Association that I'm a member. And the theme was Art of Connection. So maybe right now you're over here, you're thinking, oh, I don't feel that confident. I'm not sure. I don't feel that great this morning. It's a Monday morning. I'm just dreaming of how I could wake up feeling empowered and confident and, be that sort of person that everyone wants to connect with. Or maybe you already are, but maybe you dream about being that person that is just walks into the room. People think, oh, the world's a better place now I'm in it. And you have that energy of empowerment and confidence and resilience that makes you show up as yourself and you naturally start connecting with people. So obviously there's a bit of a gap between here and here. And this is where, the magic can happen when we start to have those conversations and we start to own who we truly are, the courage to be ourselves. And why is that important now? Because we don't want to live our life feeling miserable. We don't want to live our life feeling not connected with people. And there's so much research that states that those of people are connected, that loneliness is as detrimental to our health as smoking. And because we are born hardwired to connect with people. So this is something I want to just share today, is about the power of connection. And also that no one remembers what you say often, but they do remember how you make them feel. And communication is very much literally two people talking to each other. But the power of silence in between that communication is when we feel what we feel. And I know that might sound obvious, but the power, you hear me talking about the power of the pause. The pause, to have that moment, it is a way of connecting with people too, helping them, giving them the space. And with coaching, I give clients a lot of space. What's really going on opposed to what you think is going on. Having the power of the space to reflect and think. And it just highlighted a story that I'd completely forgotten about that happened when I was in my 20s. I was in Hong Kong, living the dream, loving it, working as a midwife in one of the hospitals in Hong Kong. And I was really lucky to be invited to be the health cover for a trip to the Himalayas. And actually, I did it twice. And it was all very wonderful. I was all very excited. And actually, this is the trip. There were 36 lower six students and about 5 teachers and myself. And because we were in quite extreme circumstances, we got to know each other really well. I made it my duty, or what I wanted to do, to get to know every single student. Because if I was going to support them with any of their health issues, I needed to know, number one, obviously, if they had any health issues before they went. And secondly, to get to know them as people. And each night we would spend the same night, with the whole 2 weeks, we were the same buddy in our tent. And we would be walking 8 hours a day to the next sort of stop. And then the Sherpas, the amazing Sherpas, would put our tents up. And this is before I joined the army. Put our tents up and we'd buddy up with the same people every night. So we knew that each person was with a certain person. We just all stopped for lunch, which is very rare on this day. We just stopped for lunch, and normally we were sort of like miles apart from each other. Some people would go really fast, some people would go slowly, some people would take lots of pictures. I'd be with my buddies sort of in the middle, but I'd sort of go backwards and forwards a bit. But in the day, it was like about 5 mile difference between. We always had the teacher at the front, teacher at the back, teachers scattered through, so everyone was supported. We stopped for lunch, and we were there all together. And we suddenly heard a rumbling like thunder. And that thunder, suddenly, we realised that the mountain was coming on top of us. And we were in an avalanche. Anyway, the long and the story short was it was a bit of carnage. We all just sprinted, never sprinted so much in our life, because it was rock. It wasn't snow. We'd come down from the mountain because there was a snow risk. And we just sprinted, and all different directions. But actually, then it stopped, And I thought, oh my God, I'm alive. That's incredible. And then there's another ramble. And I remember thinking, oh, if that didn't get the first lot, it's going to kill the second lot. And I just suddenly stepped up and I started, the teacher found that really challenging. And I just stood there and I started shouting out because I connected with them so well. I remembered every single student and every single student who shared with each other student and each staff. And I started shouting out their names. And every single name, someone replied. And I thought, oh my God, people, they're alive. Then I started, because I'd connected with them all, I started out the names of the Sherpas and the staff and the cook boy and all the whole team. I started shouting out their names. And much to my amazement, everybody replied. Now, there's a lot more to that story, and we were all okay. The point of this is that the power of connection is so huge, because once we never know when we're going to need that connection. So have a think about who are your buddies? Who are those you feel that you don't know so well? Why don't you today seek if you can connect with someone that you haven't connected with for a while? Because you never know when that's going to be so important. And this situation is absolutely life-changing. So that's my tip for you today. See who you can connect with. Have a think about those that you maybe haven't connected with for a while. And if you want to know more about how this impacts on your leadership, then I'll put my 2-minute scorecard in the chat, completely free, and in the comments, and then we can have a conversation if you wish to. No pressure. Okay, take care. Have a good day. Bye.